everybody, this is Bronislava from HandMadeRukodelky. Today is our last video of our 4 videos that I've been trying to finish a project where we are knitting together baby jumper. So get ready to knit sleeves and then all around this opening over here, and also the leg, finishing up the leg area. And on your own you will have to finish the edging, and also you will have to sew your buttons on all by yourself, because I did not include the buttons in the video. So let's go and finish this, because I would like to start another project. In the last video I forgot to finish my row, and I actually transferred the last stitch onto this needle right here. So I will put the last knitted stitch back and finish my row. Okay, and we have 4 stitches and we need to knit these stitches. So we will knit 3 stitches and slip the last stitch. Okay, I laid out my 2 pieces here on top of each other, and they are facing with the right sides. Okay, and this is my wrong side. And as you see, I transferred my stitches over here from the the back piece on a shorter double pointed needle, and also this one is transferred to shorter needle, and this one you can use stitch holders. Okay, you don't have to use the needles just like I do. And our next step is to sew the shoulders together. Okay, and now you can go and use any technique you want to. I will actually crochet my 2 pieces together, and I'll show you how I do it, but if you want, you can sew it together. I also would like to mention that I do have a long tail here that I had left from this side. Okay, I cut off long piece. Then this piece, actually, where we finished our narrow piece, I will use for knitting around the neck area. And then I still have this piece that is still attached to my ball, but I will cut it off and use it for crocheting together. Also, I want you to remember that these shoulders have same number of stitches. The only one that does not have same number of stitches is this narrow piece, because I was missing couple stitches there. So I actually bind off 11 stitches, but 12 stitches in here. So if you did the same thing, you need to adjust when you will be putting the shoulders together. Because I need to crochet on the wrong side, I have my pieces facing with the right side to each other, so I can go and crochet, like I said, on the wrong side. Okay, and now I will just match my stitches together. So I'll go through the first stitch over here. So I need to grab, you see, like the stitch looks like a chain, but I will not be going with the on the closer to me, but on the inside. So I'll pick up the very first stitch here on the inside, closer to the the other piece, and the same thing over here. I will do it here on the inside right there. And let me see which one is the first stitch. It's right here, this stitch. Let me show you. Okay, so I kind of have these chains facing each other, but the closest right next to each other, that's the ones I will be picking up. Okay, and I will just draw the yarn through these two loops, and I will go to the next one, not this one but the next one right here. Okay, and then this one, the second stitch, and I will draw the loops through these two, draw the yarn through these two loops and through the third loop right here, through the stitch on the hook. Okay, now I have a stitch here on the hook, and I will do the same thing over here. The next stitch, that's my third stitch on this front part, and a third stitch on a back part. Okay, but again, the ones that are very close to each other, do not do this one, not here, not this edge, the outside edge, because then you would have those these two edges showing. Okay, and again I will draw yarn through these two loops and through the stitch. Now don't make it too tight, because it would go and gather the that shoulder. Okay, so you need to leave a little bit of longer stitch. So this is my fourth stitch, and this is my fourth stitch. Okay, and draw the yarn through both loops and a stitch. Okay, and continue just like this all the way to the end. Just match those stitches if you are doing it my way. Okay, or use your needle, you can sew it. I like to use this technique because my mom showed it to me a long time ago, you know, when I was a kid. It always, when we put sweaters together, it was always first of all very, very neat, and second of all, when we no longer had a use for the sweater and we wanted to reuse the yarn, we would just simply undo it by pulling like this. See? So that's why you know, it's much easier to take those sweaters apart if you crochet them together, and it also looks neat. This stitch is a little bigger because that's the next row when we were doing so, but that's okay. I just continue crocheting, you know, just like it's, you know, it's okay. You just continue crocheting. See, and this is my, when we bind off the first time. So that's my first stitch on the first bind off. And again, don't go here, go on the inside stitch, inside chain stitch. And when I'm finished, I will show you how it looks. And here we are with our last stitches right there, and we will just pull the yarn through like this, and look at that. So this is how it looks on the wrong side when you're finished. It looks really neat, right? And this is how it looks on the right side when you're finished. I like this because it just looks more flat, in my opinion, than if you go and sew it like this. And I will do the same thing over here on this side. We need to line up, but I have string that I want to use over here. So we need to go this way. We need to turn around our work so we can work on our shoulders in here. And so this is my back and this is my front. So my front has one stitch less. So what I will do is I will go with 2 back stitches into 1 stitch. I will do this first stitch. Now I will go and make second stitch, and I will go in second stitch on the back and second stitch on the front. And now my third stitch, after I'm finished over here, now my third stitch I will do one more time into the second stitch of the front, because we have one less stitch there. And now we should be lined up with all the way to over here before we start working on the first bind off. Okay, I hope I make sense out of this. I just wanted to make sure that my stitches are lined up. And again, make sure if you're crocheting this together like I do, see, this is on the inside right here and inside right here. Make sure that you don't make these stitches too tight and not too loose. Okay, they have to exactly match those shoulder stitches. Okay, again, my back has 12 stitches and my front has 11 stitches, so I will have to go with my back 2 stitches into 2 stitches into one of the front stitches. Okay, so let's go and do it right now. So I will go with the next stitch of the back into the same stitch from the front one more time. And now we are matched up completely with the with both sides. Okay, we're done. Look, see, it doesn't pull and it's good. It's matched up. You would never know that we have one less stitch on front. Okay, now we will put needles back in here. Okay, as you see, I transferred my stitches back to my regular needles that I've been knitting, and I will just knit back and forth several rows. Okay, so we can kind of match up this edge over here. So first I will start knitting, and then over here we will pick up stitches, and then over here we will continue knitting. Okay, does it make sense? I think so, right? Alright, so let's just knit first stitch through the back loop. Okay, and now knit all the stitches all the way to the last stitch right here that we have on this needle before we pick up these stitches over here. So just knit every single stitch. Knit, knit, knit. Just knit. Okay, so here we are. We finished our last stitch. Now I'm gonna put this one down for now, and I will pick stitches along this edge over here. If you look at this, you can see that you have probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches in here, but I think we should pick up about 10 stitches along this edge. Okay, so do your best of picking stitches in such way that you do not have like big holes there. Okay, so I think I will go right here. So that's gonna be 1, and then I will combine these 2 together. That's gonna be 2, and I will go here. That's 3, and this is kind of like this, 5, because we don't want really big holes there. 5. Now we need to do another one here, help yourself with fingers if you have to go in between the stitches somehow. So this is 6. Now this will be our 7. Okay, here we will have 8. Here we have 9, and this is like kind of big hole here, so let's close it somehow, and we can go under here, right there, okay? I hope you can see it. And that's 10. And now we will just continue knitting stitches, okay? Just knit, knit, all the way to the end, okay? Okay, so I knitted my stitches and I slipped my last stitch, okay, and now I will knit my second row, and I think I will do 6 rows, and when I'm finished my 6 rows, 6 knit rows where I knit first stitch through the back loop, knit all the stitches to the last stitch, and I slip last stitch, okay? So do that actually 5 more times. So this was our first, this is second, and then 4 more, okay? Alright, I made 6 rows and it looks wide enough for my in my opinion. So I will now bind off entire row, okay? And when you're binding off, it's okay if you make it tiny bit tighter than usual, but not too tight, so it just lays nicely on the body of the baby, okay? So you just bind off all the stitches, and these are my last stitches of binding off around the neck area, okay? And we need to cut off this yarn. So our next step is to knit sleeve. So now we have to determine how far up here we will start knitting, and where we will end up over here on the other side. As you see, I have knitted already 1 sleeve over here, okay? I actually started this sleeve 3 times, but now it's okay. It's exactly how I wanted it, and I will show you how we will do this sleeve, okay? And then you will do the second sleeve exactly like I did the first sleeve, okay? So you can replay the video if you have problems. Now here I marked 2 areas, just like I did it first time over here, which is not on the video. Alright, and I counted 9 of these lines, okay, and right below the 9th hole right here, I put my marker, and then I did the same thing on this side. I counted 9 of these. This is my 9th hole over here, and right below it I made my second mark. What we need to do is we need to put 48 stitches in this area. That's what I have right here, okay? And we will start casting on the right side, okay? And we will start right there in that where the mark is. And you can either cast on with your needle, okay, or you can use a hook. If it's very hard for you to cast on with the needle, then I would suggest you do it with a hook. So this is my first. I'm gonna go and double it for first 2 stitches, and I will go right in here and I will count my stitches. Now distribute them as evenly as you can, because this edge is actually kind of interesting looking because of the knit 3 togethers. Okay, so this is my 3. Okay, and now we can drop the tail and we can start knitting, casting off with just one string. 4. And if you cannot do it with the needle, like I said, that's why I'm holding my my hook over here, you can go in with your skinnier hook. Don't use too fat hook, so you can so it's easy for you to cast on with the hook. Okay, if it would be fat hook, you would not be able to put this in here into these stitches on the side. There is another one, and continue like this until you have very well distributed stitches along this edge from mark to mark. Okay, which means if it's 48, you have to finish with 24 inches right here by the middle of the shoulder. Okay, so you need to have 24 here and 24 here. So if you don't have 24 here, you need to redo it. Okay, so just continue like I am doing, and I will see you when I am done, and then we will continue knitting together this sleeve. So I casted on my 48 stitches, starting over here on this side, okay, and finished in this spot over here. All right, now we will turn around and we will make one row where we will purl, and we're gonna go and set ourselves up for the sleeve basically. Okay, before we start making our pattern, the 4-row pattern. So I put my string forward and I will start purling, but I will slip my first stitch. Okay, and I will purl 46 stitches, and then I will slip my last stitch. So slip first stitch, purl 46, and slip last stitch, which is all total 48 stitches. Okay, now I know that I am purling with my continental style, but if you know how to purl in English, you can purl in English. Okay, so now I am finished with my purl row where I slip my last stitch. Okay, and we are going to start making our 4-row repeat. That means first row 3, knit 3 together. If I will make it there, yarn over and knit 3 together, and continue all the way to the end of the row. Okay, and I don't really have to show you much because you already know how to do this from my previous videos. I am finished with my first row of a 4-row repeat. We will turn our knit around and we will purl, and you know that we need to have this yarn forward over here. We slip first stitch, we purl 46 stitches, and then slip last stitch. Okay, so do that, and then we will do our 3rd row. this is I am finished with my second row. I will start knitting my third row, and the first stitch is as usual through the back loop. Now I will knit 46 stitches, and I will slip the last 48th stitch. In our fourth row we will purl again. So the first stitch is knit through the back loop, then we will purl 46 stitches, and after we purl 46 stitches we will slip last stitch. Okay, very good. I am finished with my 4 row repeat, and now I will do 3 full repeats. Okay, 3 full 4 row repeats, and then I will do 1 more half repeat, which means only 2 rows. I finished my second sleeve, well, almost finished actually, alright, and I have made, like I said, 4 repeats. 1 from here, 2, 3, 4. Okay, in other words, now I have 5 lines in here, and in my 5th row of knit 3 togethers I went this way and then back. Okay, I made those 2 rows in here. Okay, just like I did it over here. We will knit through the back loop. Okay, and knit 1 more regular way. So that's knit, knit. Now we will purl, purl, purl. Okay, and again knit, knit, and purl, purl, and do this all the way to the end of your row. I am at the end of my row, and I do purl, purl, knit, knit. Now I will purl 1, okay, and slip the last stitch. And now I will do the same thing again, because we finished here with purl. On this side we will start with knit. Okay, so we will go through the back loop, knit, through the back loop, knit again, and purl, purl, and knit, knit, and purl, purl, knit, knit. Continue all the way to the end. And so this is gonna be our second row. After I'm finished, I will do 4 more rows. Okay, so altogether from now on 5 rows. Okay, and you do the same. So I'm finished with my 6 rows, and my 7th row is going to be bind off. So bind off in your 7th row. And I bind off just the way I would knit. Okay, so over here I am purling, and then I pull my stitch over the purled stitch. Here I will knit, and I will pull the stitch over the knitted one and knit 1 more, and again. Okay, and do this all the way to the end. Now I am purling my stitch, and I bind off, and knit, bind off, knit, bind off, purl, bind off, purl, bind off. Okay, so I finished my sleeve. Okay, and I made an extra knot over here, and now again I will leave this really long so I can sew or crochet, in my case crochet, these this side together. Okay, so I usually leave about 4 lengths. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I have done already this part of my crotch. Okay, this is where my buttons will be. But now I will show you how we will do the second part, which is going to be exactly the same. This is going to be same as this one, except the one here is going to have holes for buttons. I cast it on 70 stitches all around this edge, okay, which means if this is half over here, 35 here and 35 here. And again, we will start on the right side. So place your knit on the right side toward you, facing you, okay, and start casting on your stitches by pulling yarn through, okay. And I'm going to leave this one long because I don't want it to entangle, because it always does that, okay. So this is 1 and 2, and just do it like we did it before, around here, around this edge over here, okay. Try to make it so it's nicely spaced, nicely and evenly spaced, okay. And make sure that you have 70 stitches. And if you cannot do it with your needle, you can use hook. So I cast it on 70 stitches, knit 3 rows, and in the 4th row we will make buttonhole, okay. So just knit first 3 rows, and again we will knit and knit, and now we will purl, purl and purl, knit and knit, purl and purl, and continue all the way to the end and slip the last stitch. Here I am at the end of my 1st row, knit, knit, purl, purl, and I have last 2 stitches, so I will knit 1 stitch and slip the next one. And now I will continue with the 2nd row, which actually I need to purl this. I will knit the 1st stitch through the back loop, and now I will purl. Let me pull on this one because it's okay. So purl. So it would be like purl, purl, but we have to knit through the back loop because we slipped the last stitch in the 1st row. Okay, and now we will do again knit, knit, purl, purl. Okay, and so you will continue all the way to the end, and at the end I think you need to purl next to last stitch, yes, purl and then slip, and when you will start the 3rd row you will start with knit through the back loop and knit and then purl, purl, okay. So when you are done with these 3 rows, I will show you how we will do our holes, buttonholes, okay. So I am finished with my 3 rows, and this is the row, this is the 4th row, and this is where we will make our buttonholes. Now if you would be doing this one over here, you need to remember that you would knit actually 3 more rows without the buttonholes in the 4th row, okay, and then you would bind off. In the 7th row you would bind off. but in here we just will add those buttonholes, and then we will do 2 more rows and then bind off. Okay, so we will do it this way. We over here we're starting with purl stitch, so but the first stitch is knit through the back hole and purl. Okay, and now we need to make our buttonholes. So what I will do is yarn over and knit 2 together. Okay, now I will purl 2, purl, knit, purl, and do another buttonhole. Okay, yarn over, knit 2 together, and again we will do purl, knit, purl, okay, and again yarn over, knit 2 together, and again we will do purl, knit, purl, yarn over, knit 2 together. Repeat this all the way to the end. So we will purl, knit, purl, and now we will do yarn over and knit 2 together. And again purl, knit, purl, yarn over, knit 2 together. I'll see you when I am finished with my row. Let's do the end together. Okay, so I just did yarn over and knit 2 together, and now I need to do purl, knit, purl, yarn over, knit 2 together, purl, and slip last stitch. Okay, and now we will continue just knitting the same way like we did before. So we will need to do knit through the back loop, and here we're supposed to knit, so this is knit. Now we will purl this one, the yarn over, and then we will knit, purl, knit, purl, yarn over. Okay, and continue just like this all the way to the end of the row. So all the yarn overs you will need to purl. Okay, see, purl and purl the yarn over. And then we will do 1 more row, and after that 1 more row we will bind off. Here I am again at the end of my row, which is our 5th row. So purl and purl this one, right, and then knit and slip the last stitch. Okay, and this is our 6th row. So we will knit through the back loop, purl, because this is purl stitch here, and knit, purl, knit, and all the way to the end. And after this we will bind off. Okay, So I'm finished with my 6th row, and we will bind off. We will bind off, so we will knit through the back loop. Now we have a knit stitch over here, so we will knit and pull that stitch over, okay? And now we have purl stitch, so we will purl and pull the stitch over the purl stitch and continue like this all the way to the end. Don't make it too tight, okay? And don't make it too loose. Just make it just exactly same tension. You can see actually my fingers going over here through those buttonholes now. So this is how it looks. So now what we need to do is sew this side, sew this side, okay? I will actually crochet it together, and you can sew it or crochet it if you want. Then we need to sew buttons. I have 6 buttons over here. I have 9 buttons over here. So that's altogether 15 buttons. And I was actually thinking, because it kind of looks a little not as exciting as I would like to, I will probably crochet a wide edge all around all these edges when I am finished, around the sleeves and around this edge over here also. So this is what I think that I will do, and I will show you how it looks. So if you want to sew or crochet, you need to basically fold it with the right side facing, okay? And you have to really match up all the stitches over here. You need to match up the lines, okay? This line here, you have to match up with the line right here, all right? And either, like I said, sew it or crochet it together, and I will crochet it together. Oops, I just pulled on my stitch. So I better go and start working with it before I take it all apart. And I think this is my first stitch right here. I need to take probably skinnier hook, but if I take skinnier hook, then I will be making 2 small stitches. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. We need to pull this one through in here. Good. Okay, and I will just crochet these stitches together, and I'm going to make it a little loosely. And you see, I'm taking both of these and both of from the other side, okay? And don't make it too tight, because then it will gather. Those stitches are not gonna be, you know, it would be too short. Oops, you see my, okay, there. Okay, you always control these chain stitches if you're crocheting it together. Now let's see, this should match up with our, yep, okay. You can start with a little bigger one, then you can go always tighten it all up. And this is our, that's our knit 3 together. Okay, go slow and make sure that you do a really good job, either sewing or crocheting together. And when I'm done, I will show you how it all looks. It's not too tight. Okay, so there you go and work hard on this one. I decided to crochet around the edges with the white yarn, and I still haven't done it around the leg area. Okay, and I will show you how I am doing it, so you can go and do it just in case you decide that you would like to do it as well. I decided to start here on the back because that's where the buttons will be, and the front actually is going to cover my starting point. We will start here on this edge. Okay, and what we will do is we will just simply pull yarn through, make a chain stitch. Okay, and I'm making the chain stitch with both strings, and I will go into the next one more time, pull through both strings again. Now I will drop one, the tail actually, okay, and make my single crochet stitch. And now I will go into every single stitch over here and make one single crochet stitch. So I will pull yarn through and then pull yarn through both loops, and the next one. Now I'm trying to make at the same time this stitch the length of this stitch. Okay, so we will go in and we'll make single crochet stitch, and in and single crochet stitch. So try to kind of space them so it really matches up. And let me go and show you over here around the arm. What I did is that because these stitches are a little closer together, so I did one stitch, one single crochet stitch, one single crochet stitch, and then I did 2 single crochet stitches together in the area that has a purl stitch over here. Okay, and then again in a knit stitch I did 1 single crochet stitch, in a second knit stitch second single crochet stitch, and then in 2 purl stitches I did 2 single crochet stitches together, which made it into one. I didn't want this part to be really big and huge around the baby's wrist. Okay, and over here I went into every single stitch right here, but over here, to make it, because this is a little bit more spaced than this, I went and into every other stitch. Okay, so I kind of skipped one stitch. You can see here is one stitch, but I skipped it, and then I made one stitch, skipped this one, made another stitch, because these were a little bit more closer together. Okay, and so right now in here, these are not so close together. I will crochet single stitches all around both legs because they are kind of connected, and let me show you. Okay, so you will go all around here, around this leg bottom here, around this edge where we have buttonholes, and around this leg over here, and then you will just slip stitch it over here in this corner. And also make sure in corners here and in this corner, and also right here in this and this corner. Okay, make 3 single crochet stitches in those corners, because it has to make a way around so it doesn't pull. Okay, so if you decide that you want to crochet around the edge also, make sure that your single crochet stitches are evenly spaced, okay, and that they are kind of matching the stitches where you are going into with your hook. Okay, and when I'm finished, I will show you how my jumper looks like, and that's about it. Oh, and we still have to go and add buttons, right? So I need to go to the store and purchase buttons, and then I will be done. Well, actually I will not be done. I still have to edit my video and post it, and that's going to go and take time. But other than that, this project was quite a lengthy one. Took me a long time to finish it. This is the end of my video, so thank you again for watching my videos. I just want to let you know that I enjoy your interaction. Few of you actually gave me some ideas to make my videos better. Thank you very much again for being my virtual friends, and I will see you another time.